Over the crackle of musket fire and the boom of cannons, the invincible Major Mordecai Gist ordered his men forward. Enemy fire tore through their ranks, but boldly, the men continued to surge toward an old stone house occupied by Cornwallis and his redcoats. The men's resolve was solidified by the outrage they surely felt as they stepped over the bodies of their dead comrades. Yet in the midst of this, not all was lost. Those soldiers held off the British at Brooklyn long enough to help save a core of Washington's troops and arguably the bulk of the developing American army. The men in that assault would later become known as the Maryland 400. With their blood, they bought, in the words of one American, quote, "an hour more precious to American liberty than any other in its history," end quote. This story is just one of hundreds. Stories of men who paid the ultimate price. What was it that made men leave all of their earthly comforts behind to fight in the trenches? Why did 56 bold men sign the Declaration of Independence? I want to examine the answer to these questions in 3 main points. First, what did the Founding Fathers really do? Secondly, what was their vision for our country? And last, what should our response be to all that's been done for us? So first, what did the Founding Fathers really do? On July 4th, 1776, a day that would go down in history, 56 men gathered at Independence Hall to sign their names to a document that would change the course of history forever. A document that would declare the people of the United States independent from Britain. In fact, by signing that document, they would be committing high treason against Great Britain and its sovereign King George III. The Revolutionary War would break out as a result of this independence, lasting a total of 7 years, leaving behind it a trail of broken lives, broken families, and broken hearts. Yet one thing was left unbroken: the United States of America. But considering everything that was lost, why did the Founding Fathers put everything on the line to start our country? This brings me to my second point. What was the Founding Fathers' vision for our country? The Founding Fathers were a group of men united in one goal: American liberty. They understood that citizens should have a voice in their nation's government, and that the government only derives its power from the consent of the governed. Thomas Jefferson's timeless words from the Declaration of Independence sent political shockwaves around the world that continue to reverberate in the minds of Americans today. Quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness," end quote. The Founding Fathers knew that no earthly ruler had supreme authority, but that every single person has rights given them by God, and that it was time to rise up and secure those rights at all costs. They knew they could even pay with their own blood, but not one single man renounced his pledge to stand by the Declaration. What they wanted for our country was liberty and freedom, and that is exactly what they achieved. So considering everything that's been done for us on behalf of our country, what should our response be as Americans living in the 21st century? This leads into my third and final point: our response. Our response, quite simply, should be one of gratitude. Gratitude for an example of men standing up for what they believed in, even when it cost them everything they had. This in turn should provoke a sense of duty to continue to fan the flame that our Founding Fathers lit. Because freedom doesn't always come easy. As Ronald Reagan once said, quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction." We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same, end quote. We live in a day and age where people feel a growing sense of entitlement rather than that of duty. People live their lives looking for what they can get instead of how they can give. I think it's time for this generation to stand up and take responsibility for our part in the fight for freedom. And like the Maryland 400 and countless others, demonstrate bravery and courage in this continuing battle. May we always give our thanks to those thousands of men who gave their all for the cause of freedom and liberty. May God give us strength for the future and may God bless America.